Trying to control everything is one of the fastest ways to lose your peace. But healing begins when you finally let go and allow God to control or to handle what you can't. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Purpose Coaching with Jean. Today's message is about learning to release control, not as weakness, but as wisdom. But before we begin, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this message with anyone who may find it useful. Many of us spend our lives trying to hold everything together. We want every plan to go right, every person to behave the way we hope, and every outcome to look like what we imagine. But the harder we try to control what's beyond us, the more we end up drained, anxious, or even disappointed. Of course, control feels safe, but it feels safe because it gives us the illusion that we can protect ourselves from pain and uncertainty. But control, what it does is also create tension in our bodies and in our minds. We start overthinking every single decision. We plan every conversation or worrying about what hasn't happened yet. Before long, we lose touch with the present moment, the only space where peace and clarity truly exist. Of course, you can plan, you can prepare, you can do your best, but there will always be a moment that reminds you you are not in charge of everything. Real strength isn't in holding tighter, it's in knowing when to release. Letting go doesn't mean you're giving up. It means recognizing that some things are simply not yours to carry. When you stop chasing what's outside your control, what happens is then you make room for emotional balance, spiritual alignment, and genuine growth. Think about it. How many times have you stressed over something that eventually worked itself out without your help? Maybe you lost a job that later made space for a better opportunity. Maybe a relationship ended, but it cleared your path for healing and self-discovery. Sometimes what feels like a loss of control is actually God's way of redirecting you to what's truly meant for you. The need to control often comes from fear, fear of loss, fear of rejection, or failure. It's a protective response. What happens is when we have been hurt before, our mind wants to prevent that from happening again. But the more you try to control everything around you, the less you feel in control within yourself. You become emotionally reactive, always waiting for the next thing to go wrong. And when you live in that state for too long, your body stays in constant alert mode, what therapists call fight and flight. Letting go, ladies and gentlemen, is not passive. It's an active, conscious choice to redirect your energy towards what's actually within your influence, your thoughts, your response, and your peace. You might not be able to control the outcome, but you can control how you show up. You can control the tone of your voice, the words you speak, the attitude you carry, and the way you care for yourself while you wait for things to unfold. Ask yourself, what am I carrying that's not mine to fix? What situation am I forcing that's not flowing? What would it feel like if I trust instead of controlled? When you begin asking these kind of questions, you create space for healing. You stop reacting and start responding to clarity and grace. Here's something to remember. Peace and control cannot coexist. You either have one or the other. If you are holding on tightly to everything, trying to make sure life bends to your plans, you always feel tense and uneasy. But if you release your grip, it just even a little, you will notice your body relax, your breathing slow, and your thoughts settle. That is the beginning of emotional freedom. Start practicing these things every day. Take a few small but intentional steps. When something starts to feel overwhelmed, pause and name it. Say it out loud. What's bothering you? Or what you're afraid to lose control over. Naming your emotion help bring it from chaos to clarity. Another way to go through it is journaling. Write down what's been heavy in your heart. Sometimes when you see your worries on paper, they lose their power. End your writing in a short statement like, I have done it. I have done my part today. And I am trusting what happens next. That simple act train your brain to release responsibility for what's not yours to control. That's what it does. You can always shift your energy by changing your perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? When you reframe a situation from frustration to learning, it no longer feels like a punishment. It feels like a preparation. Growth happened in that shift. Let go again doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop caring what was never meant for you to carry. You can still love people and set boundaries. You can still work hard and surrender the outcome. You can still plan ahead while staying open to change. Letting go means trusting that things can work out, even if they don't go according to your script. There's a beautiful truth in Proverbs 3:5, which said, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. That verse isn't about religion. It's about release. It's about trusting that even when things don't make sense, there's still purpose unfolding in the background. Trust reminds you that you are supported, that life isn't random,